Hello everyone and welcome to today's video. Today we have some breaking 2026 election news. Senator Mitch McConnell of Kentucky, the former Senate Majority Leader and longtime senator from the state of Kentucky, will officially not seek re-election in 2026. This was first reported by the AP and I have the article here. So the article begins by saying Republican Senator Mitch McConnell announced today on Thursday that he won't seek re-election next year, ending a decades-long tenure as a power broker who championed conservative causes, but ultimately ceded ground to the fierce GOP populism of President Trump. McConnell, the longest-serving Senate party leader in U.S. history, chose his 83rd birthday to share his decision not to run for another term in Kentucky and to retire when his current term ends. He informed the Associated Press of his decision before he was set to address the colleagues in a speech on the Senate floor. His announcement begins the epilogue of a storied career as a master strategist, one in which he helped forge a conservative Supreme Court and steered the Senate through tax cuts, presidential impeachment trials, and fierce political fights. 7 times, my fellow Kentuckians have sent me to the Senate, McConnell said in prepared remarks provided to advance of the AP. Every day in between, I've been humbled by the trust they've placed in me to do their business here. Representing our Commonwealth has been the honor of a lifetime. I will not seek this honor an 8th time. My current term in the Senate will be my last. McConnell was first elected way back in 1984. He intends to serve the remainder of his term ending in January 2027. McConnell has dealt with a series of medical episodes in recent years, including injuries sustained from falls and times when his face briefly froze while he was speaking. The senator plans to deliver a speech in a chamber, the famously taciturn that McConnell revered as a young intern, long before joining its backbenches as freshman lawmaker in the mid-1980s. His dramatic announcement comes almost a year after his decision to relinquish his leadership post after the November 2024 election. South Dakota Senator John Thune, a McConnell deputy, has replaced him as majority leader. McConnell's looming departure reflects the changing dynamics of the Trump-led GOP. He's seen his power diminish on a parallel track with both his health and relationship with Trump, who once praised him as an ally, but has taken to criticizing him, and it's honestly been a big back and forth between Trump and McConnell for the last few years now. In Kentucky, McConnell's departure will mark the loss of a powerful advocate and will set off a competitive GOP primary next year for what will now be an open Senate seat. Kentucky Democratic Governor Andy Beshear, seen as a rising star in his party for winning statewide office in the Republican territory, has said he has no interest in the Senate, though he's widely viewed as a contender for the 2028 presidential race. McConnell, a die-hard adherent to Ronald Reagan's brand of traditional conservatism and muscular foreign policy, increasingly found himself out of step with the GOP shifting toward the Trump MAGA typeness of the Republican Party. McConnell still champions providing Ukraine with weapons and other aid to fend off Russian invasion, even as Trump rackets up criticism of the country and its leader, Zelensky. The senator plans to make it clear Thursday that the national defense remains at the forefront of his agenda. Thanks to Ronald Reagan's determination, the work of strengthening American hard power was well underway when I arrived in the Senate, McConnell said in his prepared remarks. But since then, we've allowed that power to atrophy, and today a dangerous world threatens to outpace the work of rebuilding it. So lest any of our colleagues still doubt my intentions for the remainder of my term, I have some unfinished business to attend to. McConnell and Trump were partners during Trump's first term, but their relationship was severed after McConnell blamed Trump for disgraceful acts on January 6th, the Capitol attack by his supporters, a momentary thaw in 2024 when McConnell endorsed Trump didn't last. Last week, Trump referred to McConnell as a, quote, very bitter guy, after McConnell, who battled polio as a child, opposed the vaccine skeptic RFK Jr.'s confirmation as the nation's top health official. McConnell referred to Trump as, quote, a despicable human being and a narcissist in a biography of the senator by the Associated Press Deputy Washington Chief Bureau Michael Tackett. Before their falling out, Trump and McConnell pushed through a tax overhaul largely focused on reductions for business and higher-earning taxpayers. They joined forces to reshape the Supreme Court when Trump nominated 3 justices, and McConnell guided them to the Senate confirmation, tilting the High Court to the Republican direction. McConnell set a new precedent for the hardball partisan tactics in 2016 by refusing to even give a hearing to Democratic President Barack Obama's pick, Merrick Garland, to replace the late Supreme Court Justice Antonin Scalia. Putting the brakes on the Senate's advised consent role for judicial nominees, McConnell said the vacancy should be filled by the next president so voters could have their say. Trump filled the vacancy once he took office, and McConnell later called the Stonewall and Garland's nomination his, quote, most consequential achievement. And then when liberal Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg died weeks before the 2020 presidential election, won by Democrat Joe Biden, McConnell rushed Amy Coney Barrett's confirmation through the Senate, waving off allegations of hypocrisy. McConnell also guided the Senate and Trump through 2 impeachment trials that ended in acquittal. And the second impeachment weeks after the attack in January by a mob hoping to overturn Trump's 2020 election defeat, McConnell joined all but 7 Republicans in voting to acquit. McConnell said he believed Trump couldn't be convicted because he had already left office, but the senator condemned Trump as practically and morally responsible. McConnell over the years swung back and forth from majority to minority leader, depending on which party held power. He defended President George W. Bush's handling of the Iraq War and failed to block Obama's health care overall. McConnell, the longest-serving senator from Kentucky, ensured that the bluegrass state received plenty of federal funding back home, and he's a key architect in his party's rise to power in a state long dominated by Democrats. He is married to Elaine Chao, and they have been a long power couple in Washington. His prepared remarks Thursday, the senator referred to her as his, quote, ultimate teammate and confidant. Chao was Labor Secretary for Bush and Transportation Secretary during Trump's first term, though she resigned after the January 6th situation, saying it had deeply troubled her. McConnell's parting words reflected his devotion to the Senate and his disdain for his detractors. The Senate is still equipped for work of great consequence, he said, and to the disappointment of my critics, I'm still here on the job. So that was quite a long article by the AP, and clearly not too friendly of President Trump, but that's honestly to be expected. But that does a pretty good job, I think, at kind of going over some of McConnell's biggest either achievements or things he has done since being in the Senate seat from Kentucky. As for the 2026 Senate seat now, as the article mentioned, it will be an open race. Andy Barr has been mentioned as a potential candidate. I've already done a video on him. Daniel Cameron, the former Kentucky Attorney General, who was the nominee for governor in 2023 against Andy Beshear, if you may remember that race, he has publicly expressed interest in running. Nate Morris, a business and conglomerate owner, has also expressed interest. Among other potential candidates, in addition to Barr, there's Kelly Craft, former U.S. Ambassador to the United Nations and candidate for governor in 2023, Robert Stivers, president of the Kentucky Senate, and Damon Thayer, former state senator. Some news we do have, some people ruling out running. James Comer has announced he will not be running for this race. Thomas Massey has also announced he will not be running. McConnell obviously is not running, and David Osborne has also not been running. On the Democratic side of things, governor of the state, Andy Beshear, who likely would have made the race the most competitive that it could have been, has announced he will not be running. The only declared candidate is Pamela Stephenson, the minority leader of the Kentucky House of Representatives and nominee for Attorney General in 2023. Barring a competition out of nowhere, it's more likely than not she's going to win the Democratic primary and go on to face against the Republican in November. 3 political forecasting websites, Inside Elections, Cook Political Report, and Sabados Crystal Ball, all have this race ranked as solid Republican. In my own personal rankings, I agree with that. What that means, solid Republican, is when you look at the state of Kentucky, I think it would be over 15% margin of victory, which would put it as solid. Just to give you an idea of how red this state is, in the presidential election in 2024, Donald Trump won the state by about 31%. In 2020, which ended up being a good year for the Democrats, Trump still won the state 62-36%. So what's that, about 26-point win? So that was very good for the Republicans as well. Looking at the past Senate elections in Kentucky, in 2022, Rand Paul won by 23 points. McConnell won by 19.5 in 2020. So Kentucky has a long history now of being a safe Republican state at the Senate level and presidential level. Even though the governor's race, as a Democrat, at the federal level for president and Senate, it is a safe Republican state, and I fully expect it will be once again in 2026. That's all I have for you in today's video. Thank you so much for watching. Please remember to give the video a like, and please remember to leave a comment below telling me your thoughts about this news and what you think this means for 2026. And anything you want to leave a comment about, also feel free to do so. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you in a future video. That will do it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please remember to give it a like. And if you really liked it, please remember to click the subscribe button. And make sure you turn post notifications on so you always get notified when I post a new video. That way you never miss one. Also, please remember to share this video with your friends and family if you really like the video. And remember to stay tuned because I'll be posting at least one video every single day leading up until Election Day. So I'd really appreciate it if you keep coming back and watching those videos. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you in a future video.